Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And I think my favorite series lately has been meeting with podcasters over the last few weeks. And we are here with Ovaries Could Talk. But you guys have this amazing new podcast that I've been following mostly on Twitter. And you guys have got like this really great thing going on.
I mean, we didn't mean to, but we do. We didn't mean for it to happen, but it's happened.
When we started this podcast, and I can only speak for myself because I think Robin had different intentions when we started it, and there's a whole story as to how it got started. But when we started it, I really thought we were going to have just like one season. We're going to throw it out there because we had enough friends to fill up one entire season, enough gay parent friends, LGBTQ parent friends that would fill up a season, and that would have been a fun hobby. And then we go back to our lives. I think Robin can take over from here because she might have had some other designs.
Yeah, I don't do hobbies. I don't do hobbies. I was like, listen, here's what we're doing, kid. Next thing we step in Google Docs and we had Rosie O'Donnell on the podcast.
And all the handles and all that, like we opened up everything. We started an email, we started a thing. I was like, whoa. We're just gonna put a podcast out into the universe. That's what I thought we were doing.
I was like, no, my wife's designing a logo. Things are happening.
It was happening and it happened. And I'm so glad it happened.
It's a podcast, and now it's a book, and now it's like it's a universe, Jaimie. Dare I say it?
It's taken over.
Jumped in with both feet, didn't you?
We did.
And I'm not one to jump in with both feet. Normally, I think it took Robin literally pushing me in head first.
Yeah. Do you know when people jump out of an airplane and they're strapped onto somebody? That's Jaimie's. Go, we're going.
Wait, what's happening? What are we doing? What's going on? I don't know. I'm pregnant. Like, I was literally 8 months pregnant when we started this.
She doesn't know like what I've signed her up for until we're out of the plane. And at that point, it's too late. I'm like, listen, we're already down this road. We're moving.
and move we did, Robin Hopkins. We did. We are going into our 8th season.
We like to say, because we also have a live stream that's on weekly too, and we like to say we're every place no one wanted us to be.
Here we are, and we just continue.
Well, I think a big part of it, though. I mean, yes, you jumped out with both feet and in tandem in that parachute, and just made it up as you went along. But But I think what's fascinating is that you give voice to some of those folks that maybe don't necessarily feel that they have a voice out there, which is LGBTQ parents. I've noticed, by the way, there was this really interesting thing I learned years ago, is that sometimes because parents are so dedicated, they're taking care of their kids and they're going through so much that they don't even know when there's like another gay and lesbian parent like right around the corner from them.
Yeah.
Until the internet came along and they started to find ways to connect, and they would discover, wow, I have neighbors. Yeah. You've kind of brought all that to the forefront.
Yeah.
Well, I always was one of those gay people I was always one of those lesbians who felt like I was just isolated in my own little lesbian world with my own little lesbian partner. I never felt part of the community. I do now because of this podcast. We have created this huge LGBTQ community. It's amazing. And there was a need for it, clearly. Because we hear from people all the time that they're so happy that we made this podcast. They're so happy that they get to hear these stories. They don't feel alone anymore. It's really amazing.
And the stories are different every single time. Like you could have the same setup, like 2 women, like a donor sperm, and the stories are completely different. Or 2 men surrogacy, or a trans person, or non-binary, or whatever. But regardless, all the stories are so different and so interesting. And we had Stacey Ann Chin on the podcast twice. Once we did a live show with her once before, but we like bum rushed her as she did a speaking event at my job. And I went in with a folder. Like I was like, I'm going to do this. It was like a corporate, it was like a lunch and learn. And I came in like all like, yeah, sure, I'll go into your lunch.
She was like, she's a lesbian mom. She's calling me on the phone. Like, Stacey Ann Chin's here. She's a lesbian mom. We're going to get her on. I'm going to get her.
So I have to go. And I went in with a folder. And then in the middle of the thing, it turned out to be like a creative writing prompt, because she's a writer. She's just, if you don't know Stacey Ann Chin, you have to know everything about her. She's a powerhouse. Activist, poet, writer. She was one of the first poets in Def Jam poetry. But like it was all about she was talking about our stories, and she said, writing your story of coming out. And she said, because she said, no two stories are alike, and every story should be normalized and should be brought. But she said, if you think about it, every story that's told on TV and movies, no straight person always goes, oh, well, they've already told that story. And that's all the stories we're surrounded by. And I was so moved by that. Like, and that became her words, and we were already kind of doing this, but she crystallized it in a way that was like, we need to highlight people's stories, and that's what the gist of the book, the gist of the podcast, the live stream is about, bringing our stories to the forefront.
And that's where it all came from the start. I was feeling lonely. I was going through infertility. I came to Robin. I was finally pregnant with the kid, but going through my infertility, I was looking for my story anywhere. I was trying to find somebody who had a similar experience to me, and I couldn't find the gay version of it. I was looking at podcasts, I was looking at articles, I was watching TV shows. I couldn't find the gay version of my story. And so I came to Robin, and then Robin made me jump out of a plane and made it happen. And that's what's going on. But like, it needed to there was a void. So our stories need to be told. That's it.
I think I can see why you've succeeded so well, though. You guys have such passion for this.
Well, we also just like to interrupt, and we can't shut up.
We're like this. Now, this is anybody on any of our shows, we're always like, yeah, no, we'll get to you. Our editors do a fantastic job of bringing less of us and more of them.
Well, I know you want to ask a story, but here I go again.
It's his show.
I know.
No. I'm loving it. People want to hear you guys, not me.
Well, like oh God, now I lost my train of thought. That happens a lot too, especially because
He'll come back to her and then she'll interrupt you.
I will interrupt you.
But you guys were on Good Morning America, and I mean, like I said, and what did you say? Your pilot or your first episode was Rosie O'Donnell?
Not the first.
She was season 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she was 4 or 5.
Something like that, but we got to like Judy Gold first, Stacey Ann, Zach Walls, State Senator Zach Walls.
You might remember Zach Walls from the young kid who made the speech about his gay moms to the House, and now he's a senator.
State Senator, yeah.
There's two other lesbian podcasters you have to meet someday. You guys are on par with the same energy, and it's they do Scissoring Isn't a Thing. Have you ever heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of that podcast. I haven't checked it out yet, but I need to.
I just love the name. And I love the name. It makes perfect sense. It's something that needs to be listened to. I really think.
I thought you were going to say something that needs to be said to everyone. Scissoring is not a thing. I mean, tell everyone.
Come on this podcast and have this conversation with them, because scissoring can be a thing, can it? I mean, come on. Anyway, we're not going there. They should come on our live stream. Make a connection. We'll have them on our live stream. Oh my God.
Karen and Liz, you would love them.
We need to talk about scissoring and also being moms at the same time. I don't know how it works. And
when she says at the same time, she doesn't actually mean being a mom and scissoring. She means
that's weird. That's awkward.
Topics.
It's totally awkward.
I love it. Hey, tell us, you're kind of like taking a little break. It's August, but what's coming up? You have anything you can share that's coming up next as when you guys come back?
Yeah, we have Team 2 Moms. Rumor has it is gonna be on the podcast. We've been trading some emails.
Team 2 Moms.
Meet the Wilds. We've been trading some emails with I don't want to with Alec Mappa, and he has said yes, but we need to get him. So Alec Mappa, if you're watching this, let's schedule it.
Let's get this done. But also, that aside, we have a lot of amazing stories of people just in the world living as LGBTQ parents.
Oh, Jaimie, what's his name? We interviewed him, and it was like one of our favorite interviews last year. Starts with a T.
Oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God.
Trevor. No, Tristan. He has a book out right now, and he was like a trans man who had a baby, and it's about his experience being pregnant. And Tristan, I can't think of his last name.
My favorite people. I just want to hang out with Tristan all. Oh my
God,
I love Tristan.
Such a good interview, and that's going to be the top of.
That's
season.
the top, right? But it's just we get emails and DMs from people all the time. Don't do
I
did, but I did the thing with my head when I said DM, so it's okay to do that. DMs, because I'm not young enough to say that, but we get messages from people saying, thank you so much for sharing these stories. Also, I think I should be on your podcast because listen to my story. And then we read the email and we're like, oh my God, come talk. Are you kidding? Come talk to us. And it's just like, when I say community, I mean community. Like, people are just people. That's the beauty of this. Like, it's not voyeuristic. We want our stories of how our families were created to be told. Every single person personally wants their story out there in the world, because to all of us, it's beautiful. The way I created my children is a miracle, and it's beautiful, and I'm so lucky, and I want to share it with the world, and I don't feel any shame. And I think that now that people see that there's this venue to share this, they just want to be on it. They want to be a part of it. Because they're so proud. Of course, we're proud of our families. Are you kidding?
Yeah. We try to balance the slate so that it's like some influencers, some people of note, notoriety, and then listeners. Like, we want to make sure, and then we make sure to hit a diverse slate around as well. We want to hit every aspect of our community, because there's so many different shades of our community, of different people who identify in different ways. So we really work really hard to make sure it's a diverse slate of diverse people and diverse stories, and it's like, at this point, it's almost getting hard, because it used to be anyone who emailed us, we could be like, absolutely, you can be on the podcast, but it's like, we already have yeses for almost the entire fall season. So it's like, the more emails that come in, we have to kind of try to strategize a bit to, so it's like, we love those stories, but we can't even share them all.
We'll get to them all, Robin. We will get to them all. It just might take a bit, but we will get to them all.
I want to start a blog on our website where people who maybe we can't find the time, where they write their story and they guest post it on the blog. We just haven't prioritized that yet, but it's coming.
That's a whole nother thing. There she goes again.
I heard something else you were saying, and it was interesting, because it's I always say, back in the 90s, the internet connected us for the first time in a way that hadn't been done, and so much developed over time from that connectedness. But from that, is what you were saying, is that community started to build, and especially with social media community. But I think the key is that in the last few years, and especially today, and it's still just going on, it's the way not only do we have community, but now we collaborate. And you guys are, in my opinion, you guys are part of that collaboration, where you are collaborating, you're engaging with people all over the world, wherever they may be. And again, that sharing of voices and being engaged with each other, it's different. And I think it's definitely the way of the future.
Yeah. Every story, every week, like, people ask us our favorite episodes, and we're always like, because they're like they're like little family members to us, like when we were writing our book, If These Ovaries Could Talk, the Things We've Learned About Making LGBTQ Family.
That's very well. It's a very long title. You did
rolls
that
right off your tongue. But when we were writing the book, we had to transcribe all of like the first 3 seasons.
That was painstaking work. I'll tell you that.
It was a lot, because we pulled quotes. It's a transcripted book, but it also has a lot of like color and commentary around it, and topics. And you can read it. You can read it by, if you want to have a baby, or if you already have a baby and you want to talk about the things after. But
choose your own adventure style book.
While we were doing it, we were like, these people are our friends. And we bumped into this one guy. It was a husband of one guy at a gay pride event. He was from season 1, and I had been listening to his was one of mine that I was transcribing, because we split them up. And I bumped into him, and I was like, Gary! And I like accosted him. Like, I almost made out with him. I was like, Gary. And I could see the look on his face that he did not know who I was. And he was just like, hey. And then eventually his husband came over, who recognized me. And I was like, that's a nice little reality check that they don't know who we are.
They don't remember the 2 hours they spent with us recording that episode. But to us, it's like, plus we put them in the book, so we listened to their episode 100,000 times.
They're best friends now.
Yeah, we are best friends now, because his husband,
every single guest,
lawyer in residence.
It's true. I'm sorry. Every single guest we ask, we invite ourselves over to their house for dinner, and then they never invite. I think we got one actual invitation and we couldn't do it. However, I do want to add that the husband
Anthony has become our legal person in residence. So anytime somebody asks us a legal question around parenting rights, LGBTQ parenting rights, and I constantly I go straight to Anthony. Like we just go to Tony, help us. What do we do?
Yeah. We've had him on the podcast several times on the live stream. He's Anthony M. Brown if you need his legal advice.
He's amazing. We love him to death.
Well, you'll have to come out. You'll have to come out this way since we're all. I moved out of New York and I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they're having a Pride this Sunday, Lehigh Valley Pride, and so we're going to be there. We're going to be doing interviews live at there, and there's a few other podcasters are going to be there as well. Some folks from Arkansas are coming up, and
nobody invited us. Nobody invited us. What happened?
Just in case you're bored, come on out, and I'll make sure you come over for dinner.
Like, we just got another invite.
We just got to. We might show up. Watch out.
I know, right? If I'm taking my kids to camp that day.
Well, I mean, the problem is we travel with a lot of people because we have children.
We're a lot.
Nobody wants us.
We're a lot.
We bring our kids with us. It's not fun.
We're like a giant chaos ball that just comes running at you.
We really are.
This whole area is so family oriented. I think they would love it.
So we can just leave the kids at the neighbors. Is what you're saying.
That could work too.
I heard that you would take my kids for the summer. Did you hear that, Jaimie? That's
I heard that. Did you hear that? Because I'm right, and I'll drop them off. I'll drop them off on Saturday.
We're gonna say the kids should live in the country, and I was like, absolutely, let's do this.
This is not the first time that's happened to me, so I'm a really good uncle.
You do seem like you would be good.
Yeah, I know. My 3-year-old is in a little bit of a turd phase, but he'll outgrow it. You know.
I can outdo him on that, but I won't say any more. Well, you two are wonderful, and I really am glad that we were able to share some moments and take this time. But I really look forward to being able to connect with you all in the real world sometime here soon.
Yes, and when we get back up in September, because we're back with season 8.
Yeah.
In September, but we'd love to have you come on our live stream.
Oh, yeah. That would be amazing.
That would be really fun.
Yes, I agree.
So much fun. And we can talk about all things ILoveGay. Hashtag ILoveGay. There's so many things we can talk about. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah. I can go on forever. And then we could weave in the parenting and the uncle stuff, and we'll have a blast.
Oh, I love me a gay uncle. They're my favorite. I want to drop them off with
hashtag gunkle.
Gunkle. I'm all about the gunkles.
All right, you all. Well, thanks again for being here, and look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.